Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon Perna. Some call me the Tyler Henry of football predicting. The main difference being I'm not lying to the world for giant monetary gain. Last week, I was shit, only got 10 games right, but those 10 I got right, I got them more right than anybody else. In this episode, I'm predicting the early games for Week 5, including the Thursday night games, and the 11 o'clock Sunday games. That's good sports. This episode is sponsored by BetDSI.com, one of the best sports books out there. If you like wagering on sports games, this is the place for you. And right now, if you use my promo code GOOD25, they will give you $25 free to bet however your gambling heart desires. And guess what? This first game I'm about to talk about might be one you should consider betting on. I'm talking about Thursday Night Football and the 2-2 Patriots at the 2-1 Buccaneers. Look, normally I would advise against betting on Thursday night games. The short week makes them unpredictable, in my opinion. The Patriots are 5.5-point favorites on the road this week. The Pats currently have the worst overall defense in the NFL. That puts a tickle in my urethra when I say it. The Pats, worst. The Patriots are worse. The Patriots are terrible at something, and it's defense. Oh, yeah. The over-under is 55. Everyone is saying this will be a high-scoring game, as two of the worst pass defenses in the NFL right now are the Bucs and Patriots. Tampa Bay's got some great receivers, and Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson could have a big day against the Pats. I like Tampa Bay's defensive line, but the rest of the defense is banged up. Safety TJ Ward and Keith Tandy, both doubtful. Linebacker Levante David, doubtful. Linebacker Quan Alexander, out. So the only way Tampa Bay will slow the Patriots down is if the defensive line controls the game and puts relentless pressure on Tom Brady. Come on, Gerald McCoy, get him. The Patriots have a bunch of guys who are not healthy as well, but I think New England gets the win because I'm not sure Tampa Bay can keep up with them scoring. However, I don't think the Patriots will cover the spread, so I'm betting on Tampa to cover the points, and I think the over-under will be less than 55.5. So feel free to take or ignore my advice at BetDSI.com. The 0-4 49ers at the 1-3 Colts. The Colts are the only AFC South team not 2-2, and I said the 49ers would get their first win last week, but then they lost to the Cardinals in overtime like a bunch of real bad guys. The Colts have been dismissed as a shitty team, and after they were leading 15-10 at half against Seattle, I was ready to hype them up this week. But in the second half, they scored 3 points, which is high if you're playing fucking soccer, Indianapolis. Well, the Seahawks went on to score 36 points, which is low if you're playing basketball. This game is a battle between two shitty teams who don't know how to win. But give me the 49ers to win because at least they remained competitive for an entire game last week. The 2-2 Jets at the 0-4 Browns. The Jets aren't as bad as we all made them out to be. The Cleveland Browns are. Give me the Jets on the road in a game only Jets and Browns fans will watch. Bilal Powell will probably get 500 yards this week after putting up 163 against the Jags. On a positive note for the Browns, for Browns fans, your number one pick, Myles Garrett, is expected to make his debut Sunday. So, there you go. The 0-4 Chargers at the 0-4 Giants. Yes, winless versus winless in my game of the week. 49ers, Browns, Chargers, and Giants are all the remaining winless teams in the NFL. Speaking of losing, Phillip Rivers lost his fucking mind and shit on the field last week. This is the exact moment Rivers realized he wasted his entire career playing for a shitty organization. Cry me a Rivers, cry me a Rivers. 13 years after being drafted in the first round together and then swapping places, Manning and Rivers are the best in the NFL at losing. Who would have imagined this? If this game was in Los Angeles, I'd take the Chargers. I think the East Coast early game is going to fuck with them, and I don't think they can cover Odell Beckham and Sterling Shepard. I do believe Eli Manning will take a pounding as Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram will have a field day against that cruddy Giants line. If the Chargers win, it will be because of those two guys. Look for a bunch of interceptions, fumbles, and just general terrible play in an ugly Giants win. The 2-2 Jags at the 3-1 Steelers. You fucking Jaguars. You fucking cocksucker motherfucker Jaguars. Both times I pick you to win, you lose. And when I pick you to lose, you win. But I have you figured out, Jags. You are going to lose every single game this season that you should win. The Steelers should win this game at home. Jacksonville is terrible against the run, allowing 165 yards per game. And now they get Le'Veon Bell coming off a 144-yard performance against Baltimore. I'm taking the Steelers because I believe they are going to run it down Jacksonville's throats. But if the Jags win, my theory will be true. They lose all the easy ones and win all the hard ones. This year, missing the playoffs, even though if they got into the playoffs, they would win all of the games because they shouldn't win them and be Super Bowl champions. Gonna be a tragic season for the Jags. The 3-1 Bills at the 1-3 Bengals. Cincinnati got their first win, and I'd take that into consideration if it wasn't against the Browns, who they pummeled 31-7. The Bengals do have a good defense, who took advantage of a rookie QB last week. The Bills are on a tear, ending winning streaks for the Broncos and the Falcons 2 weeks in a row. However, I do not like the Bills' offense going against Cincinnati's defense, especially on the road. I want to believe in this Bills team, I really do, but their one true receiving threat, Jordan Matthews, is out with a thumb injury. And the Bengals get the dirtiest player in the NFL back, Vontaze Burfict, this week. I'd love to see Burfict and Richie Incognito, the former dirtiest player in the league, in a cage match. UFC, if you're listening, make it happen. Bengals win this one at home. The 3-1 Panthers at the 3-1 Lions. Look, if the Broncos aren't in the Super Bowl this year, I'm rooting for the Lions if they're in the Super Bowl. This is a franchise that deserves a trip to the big game. And even though I picked against them last week, I am glad they won in a low-scoring game against Minnesota. I'll be rooting for them to beat the Panthers and the world's favorite new sexist, Cam Newton.
Funny to hear a female talk about routes, like, it's funny. But
I think this was mildly sexist, but the reaction to Cam's comments have been surprising. I mean, Dannon Yogurt gave him the axe. I was just as surprised when I learned Cam Newton was an NFL quarterback and not Batman's most notorious villain, the gay vaudevillian boardwalk boater. Don't ever forget, Cam Newton killed Davy Crockett, and not even Batman could stop him from that one. I like both teams' defensive front sevens. They're both good against the run. Both teams are giving up only 17.5 points per game. Carolina has 11 sacks, Detroit has 10. So to me, this comes down to the QBs. And I like Matthew Stafford, who, if he were a villain, would be Mr. Chill, the baseball cap bandit. These quarterbacks, it's hat versus hat, really. Cam has 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Stafford's thrown 7 TDs with 1 pick this season, and that was in week 1. I'm taking the Lions, but if they lose, it's because they have like 20 guys on the injury report this week. This game's a toss-up, but go Lions! The 2-2 Titans at the 1-2 Dolphins. Nobody cares. Both teams are bad and will continue to be bad. Tennessee let the Texans score 57 points on them and then signed Brandon Weeden to play defense, I guess. Marcus Mariota does have a gammy hammy. Jay Cutler and the Dolphins scored 0 points in London, giving Europe its first ever NFL shutout. Congratulations, Europe. I'm picking Tennessee, regardless of who starts at quarterback, because they scored 37 and 33 against the Seahawks and Jags. So there is evidence that they can play football. The 2-2 Cardinals at the 3-1 Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles and I don't even have to think about it. In real life, an Eagle would totally fuck up a Cardinal. Those gingers are the cowards of the bird world. This episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. You can download the SeatGeek app with the link in the description. Use my promo code ThatsGood and you're gonna get $20 off your first ticket purchase on SeatGeek. You can get tickets to any NFL game you want, comedy shows, concerts, whatever hell they sell tickets to. I like the SeatGeek app because they rank all their ticket prices so you know whether or not you're getting screwed, and you can preview your seat before you buy it. So promo code That's Good, $20 in your pocket. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. Share this shit on Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Brandon Perna. And don't forget, the late games will be up very soon. Come back and watch it.